There was an article in today's Washington Post that I've just got to bring to your attention. The radio reporter for the Post, Frank Aherns. This guy has got such a hard-on against our show. And why, I don't know. He writes today, this guy, with all the great stuff going on in the radio world right now, not only on this show, but throughout the radio business, the radio business has never been hotter than it is right now. I mean, radio... I'm telling you, a goddamn...
Radio's red hot,
PR, but really, radio, it's passing newspapers and getting very close to television. The top radio shows now draw larger audiences than television shows. And there's all kinds of things. There's 50 stations in every goddamn market. Everybody's on the internet, except for CBS. There's so many things happening. But what this guy, Frank Aherns, writes today in his front page article in the style section...
You want to talk about the poster boy for Out of Touch.
Is that what he wants on the radio is old-time radio dramas. And this relates to us, and I'll tell you why in a second. He writes, the time, a summer night. The place, a winding country road in the Shenandoah Valley. The players, a young honeymooning couple. As they drive with the convertible top down, the new husband and wife casually discuss the large orange ball just over the horizon. A comet that scientists predict will pass by Earth at a spectacular but safe distance. Suddenly a figure appears in the car's headlights. It's an old man waving a flashlight. The car pulls to a stop. The old man pleads with the couple. I'm a miner and my partner is trapped down a nearby shaft. Can you please help me? The three ride an elevator down a deep mine shaft. Click, click, whir. Then the wife screams, he's got a gun. Scary organ music. Now I'm reading that verbatim.
Right. Yeah, he's describing something he heard on the radio.
And he loves this. And he's devoting like 3 pages.
He's found what he really loves.
3 pages of copy to this and about how you can't find this kind of radio anymore. And, and with good reason. So I'm reading on. I'm thinking, listen, he's got his head up his ass as always, but this is, his opinion. I know that he likes stuff like that, but then he pisses me off when he gets to this part of the article. Sigh. S-I-G-H period, sigh. In radio today, the financial stakes are too high to wander from conventional wisdom. Almost no one will take a chance on radio drama or sketch comedy. But there exists a perfect opportunity for it. Afternoon drive.
Of course, that's where he wants it, in our time slot.
Radio drama needs a captive audience.
Hammerhead.
So it's perfect for people stuck in traffic. Morning drive should continue to be about news, traffic, and weather.
Which, of course, isn't true either.
Right? Yeah, right. But afternoon drive is a playground. It's about unwinding on your trip home. And afternoon shows such as WJFK's Don and Mike and WHUR's Doug and Lorna, follow that successful humor format. Both shows get big ratings, and both keep listeners tuned in, which is the goal. But how many more times can you listen to Geronimo and O'Mara drool over a naked woman in the studio, or Gilmore and Newton discuss if Barnaby Jones could beat up Matlock?
And then he gives his answer there. Yes, of course, right.
Because that's something he can relate to.
Yeah, that's he doesn't relate to the naked woman in the studio, but he's going to give his Barnaby Jones answer because he kind of likes that.
Nothing keeps folks.
God, what a date!
Nothing keeps folks tuned in like a good story. And if people are hooked, they'll listen through a block of advertisements. Blah blah blah. Right. This guy is so goddamn out of touch,
and he hates us. He hates us more than anybody hates us.
I would say that on any given day, if you listen to our show, what you get is real drama.
Right.
Absolutely. There's always a chance that we'll walk out.
But you also get all the elements that he's talking about. It's just not in the 1928 format.
Right. He just doesn't listen to it.
He doesn't listen to it. His idea, that is his idea of the show, is a naked woman coming in here, and we're drooling over here. Is that a part of the show? Yes, it is. Is that all we do?
No.
Absolutely not.
No. And I would say, in deference to all that, I would say there's plenty of soap opera themes that go on this show, many dramatic themes.
Very true.
None the least of which is, my relationship with my family, which is played out on the radio, what you do with your family. You know, whenever there's a health issue like Buzz at the hospital, that plays out on this show.
We had lots of organ music when that was going on.
I mean, listen, the point is everybody knows that if you want real radio drama, you listen to this show because we don't lie to our audience, and when we get someone who's an asswipe, we tell them they're an asswipe, but if we get in an argument with someone, we don't cut it off, we take it all the way through, and
if you want a story about two miners going down into a mine shaft, watch television. That's where that is. That's why when television was invented, that is what resulted in the demise of the radio drama.
And, like I said, this guy's entitled to his opinion, even though he's wrong. But what pisses me off is that
he picks our time slot.
He thinks Afternoon Drive is the spot for this. I would argue that.
And of course, what he's saying in a veiled way is when he's putting our names in there is that it would be good to replace our show with the. That's what he's saying.
Yeah.
Right.
All we do is get number one ratings.
Mm-hmm.
There would certainly be no reason to replace another lesser ranked show. Why not just mention the number one show?
Absolutely.
This whole thing about morning shows. That it wouldn't work in the morning because Morning Drive should continue to be about news, traffic, and weather. Really? I thought Morning Drive was about disc jockeys playing 4 or 5 records an hour and trying to do a watered-down version of what we do.
Hear, hear.
That's what Morning Drive radio is about.
Right.
Please. So anyway,
he writes this little article, and that's an article that we would totally ignore under normal circumstances. Yeah, because it's a typical article that he writes, where he writes about some tiny, obscure little programming element that he heard while he was on the can, and decides that he works our names into it, and then it gets personal.
So, if that's what he wants, boys, I have scripts for all of you. We are starting a radio drama today.
Cool.
We will play this out on the show over the next, I don't know, until we get sick of it. Buzz, someone is running you in a copy now.
Excellent.
Your copy of the script.
Thank you. Great.
Buzz, you are the narrator. Mike, you have the cherry role of being Frank Aherns.
Oh, Don, thank you for giving me the cherry gig here. That's
I will
fantastic.
be Frank's father. Robbie, you are Frank's mother. And Charlie Broyhill, you are the editor of the newspaper. And this is going to be a daily radio drama. In our way of placating Frank Aherns, in giving him what he wants, and in Afternoon Drive where he wants it. So, ladies and gentlemen, and this is simply the first installment where we are just establishing the characters, but this is what he requested. It is a radio drama with old-time sound effects that has been scripted in advance. Now, fortunately, no one on this show has had the opportunity to read their lines yet.
All right.
Which will make it even better. Don't read ahead, Mike.
I can't help it.
Don't read ahead.
Can't help it.
It's a gem, though. Let's start with our announcer who's going to introduce today's episode of As the World Aherns.
It's time for yet another episode of As the World Aherns. Let us join the Aherns family in their humble abode in the suburbs of Washington, D.C.
Frank, Mother, have you seen that no good boy of ours?
He's down in the room.
Hold on, start over. I didn't hear the microphone. Okay, everybody, hold on. Take it from the top.
Take it from the very beginning.
Take it from the absolute top.
Here we go.
Now, here is your announcer.
It's time for yet another episode of As the World Aherns. Let us join the Aherns family in their humble abode in the suburbs of Washington, D.C.
Frank? Mother? Have you seen that no good boy of ours?
Why, yes, Father. He's down in his room in the cold, dank, creepy basement, working on that so-called newspaper column of his. At least that's what he says he's doing, but I have my doubts.
I know what you mean. Every time I get close to his bedroom door, all I hear is a sound like a chicken flapping its wings. Well, I better call him up for supper. Hey, Frank! Yes, Father? You better come upstairs for supper. Your grilled cheese will get cold. Be right there, Pa. I'm just finishing up another hard-hitting piece of journalism on my computer. I just need to slip on my trousers, and I'll be right up, Pa.
But what Ma and Pa Aherns didn't realize was that at that very moment, Frank was actually moonlighting at his other job, the webmaster and ringleader at a place called Scatlover.com. His secret world where he was known not as Frank, but as the human skid mark.
Here I am, mother and father, all ready for my grilled cheese sandwich and, of course, some apple juice.
Bad news, son. We're out of apple juice. It's going to have to be grape.
Oh, boy, mother, that's even better.
Hey, boy.
Yeah.
Put your bib on.
Okay.
We don't want you to spill all over your brand new shirt from Sears.
Whoops. Too late, Pa. Grape juice all over face, and my new short sleeve button down shirt.
Oh, Frank, you never learn, do you?
Nope, Dad.
So, what are your plans tonight, Frank? Hey, would you like to watch the ball game with me?
Oh, no way, Jose. You know I don't like or understand sports, Pa.
That's true, Father. He never did. He just liked to sit in his room and talk about how great radio was in the 1920s.
Yup, I sure do love classic radio dramas. Oh, yeah, and the internet, and little boys.
What was that?
Nothing, sir.
At that very moment, the phone rang.
Answer the phone like I taught you, boy.
Hello? Aherns residence. This is Francis speaking.
You know damn well who it is. It's Johnny Spin. Your hard boy.
Charlie, let him finish.
It's very difficult doing a radio drama with one moron in the room.
Let him finish his line. Okay, we'll take it from Buzz at that very moment.
At that very moment, the phone rang.
Answer the phone like I taught you, boy.
Hello? Aherns residence. This is Francis speaking. Who's calling, please?
You know damn well who it is. It's Johnny Spin. Your hard-boiled, lovable editor at the Washington Star. Now, where's that lame-ass column you owe me? You missed another deadline.
Another deadline or another goddamn deadline?
Goddamn deadline!
Sorry, sir. I was otherwise detained.
Otherwise detained, probably at that feces website you enjoy so much.
I was doing research.
Don't you lie to me. You were doing the kind of research that only takes one hand.
Sorry, sir.
Now, I know you're not a real reporter, but try to make a deadline occasionally, or I'll let that little secret out.
How do you know about that secret?
Well, a special delivery letter came for you today, and I opened it. But for now, your secret is safe with me.
You're going to be replaced on tomorrow's episode.
That's fine.
As the Aherns turn.
That's fine.
No, read the whole line. Well, a special delivery letter came for you today, and I opened it.
But for now, your secret is safe with me.
No. That's not what my script says. My script says, but for now, your secret is safe.
But only for now. Ha, 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 ha.
Hey, editor, I hope you take care of that dyslexia problem.
Yeah, I will.
Join us next time when we hear Frank Aherns say,
Golly, I didn't think an implant would be that expensive.
only on As the World Aherns.
Good plan. Thank you, everybody. The next one, radio.
It's time for yet another episode of As the World Aherns. When we last left them, the Aherns family was sitting down to a nutritious meal of grilled cheese and grape juice when our hero Frank received a mysterious call from the editor of his newspaper. Frank hangs up the phone, turns to his parents, and says,
Oh, no! If that crusty old editor lets my secret out, my career as a pseudo-journalist will be over before it even gets started.
Francis, you have Velveeta all over your chin, dear.
Sorry, Father.
Son, which of your many dark secrets did he find out about, boy? Did he find out about your fascination with human excrement on that Scatlover.com website you're always on?
No, Father, that's no secret. My intense love of DMs is common knowledge in many communities.
And Francis, dear, you seem to be sitting in a puddle of grape juice.
Sorry, Mother.
Well, damn it all, what secret did he find out about, boy? Tell me, you worthless pansy.
Please don't yell at me, Father, sir. Don't make me cry again.
Tell me now or I will take take away your needlepoint privileges.
Okay, Father. Anything but that. Do you remember when I applied to that computer dating service?
Yes, Francis, we remember.
Well, I got a reply, and my editor opened it, and, well, now he knows the truth.
So tell us already.
He knows I've never been on a date. On a date with a girl, that is.
Well, Father, that's really no surprise, considering...
Considering what? Ma, Pa, is there something I should know?
Yes, son, there is. Now that you're in your 30s, you should be told. Frank?
Yes, Father, sir?
Frank, you're not like the other boys.
Tell me about it.
Mother, please. Frank.
Mother, please,
Sorry, I
Frank.
read your line, Daddy.
Mother, please, Frank, everybody. I'm going to tell him the truth.
Good.
Frank, the truth is, you, Frank Aherns, have no genitals whatsoever.
But, Father, I look normal from the waist down, just like all the Ken dolls that I enjoy collecting.
Francis, honey, those dolls are not anatomically correct.
She's right, son. You might have realized you were different by now, except for the fact that you've never been in any kind of a locker room, because you neither understand nor enjoy sports of any kind.
That's true. I just love spending time alone in my creepy, dark basement room.
And Frank, you never encountered a public shower due to your extreme phobia and intense hatred of personal hygiene.
Right again, Mother dear. Well, I guess that explains having no sex drive towards the female sex.
Not to mention the fact that you are the biggest pussy anyone's ever met. You have no balls in any sense of the word.
Yes, Father. I guess I'll resign myself to being a disgrace to the family. The family name of Aherns, if such a thing is possible.
Only if your secret gets out, son.
Your father's right, Francis. Everyone that's ever met you may hate you, but that's not because you have no genitals whatsoever.
Right, Mom? They hate me because I'm a complete asswipe.
Right you are, my worthless eunuch offspring.
Don't think that crusty, hard-boiled editor's gonna let my secret out. The word at the newspaper is that he's going to be replaced anyway.
Well, why is that, dear?
Because it turns out he can't read.
Well, son, don't worry. We'll look to get you an implant that'll make you feel better.
You mean a prosthetic vagina?
Son, if it's not a penis, it's not a deal.
Oh, gee whiz. Okay, Dad.
I tell you what, let's change the subject.
Oh, yes, let's do.
Say, did you hear that fabulous Don and Mike radio show today?
Oh, no, sir. I only like radio from the 1920s, and I like little boys.
What was that, son?
I said it sounds like a lot of noise, Mother. I mean, how many times can you hear them drooling over a naked girl or making fart jokes?
Well, Frank, as for myself and every other red-blooded American male, we love the Don and Mike show and never tire of it.
Well, I don't care what everyone thinks. I'm the radio critic, and I know what's best. NPR rocks my world.
Just then, someone at the door.
Who is that? We're not expecting anyone.
Well, actually, Mother, that would be my friend, Sergio.
Oh, is that nice, muscular young man who's always dressed in buttless leather chaps?
Yes, Mother.
You know, there's something queer about that young man, but I can't seem to put my finger on it.
Believe me, Father, he's as right as rain. We're going out dancing tonight at an exciting but dimly lit club near DuPont Circle in the District of Columbia.
That's nice, dear. Maybe you'll bring home a nice girl.
Don't count on it, Mother.
Join us next time when we hear Frank say,
Well, gee whiz, I haven't been in an emergency room since my incident with the bowling trophy and the Vaseline.
only on As the World Aherns.
Well, there you go, boys.
Excellent job.
There you go. Another fantastic episode. Sorry I broiled your line earlier. That's okay, no problem.
It's time for yet another episode of As the World Aherns. When we last left them, the Aherns family had just received a deep, dark secret about our hero, Frank. They finally told him something that hadn't seemed to bother Frank for well over 30 years. They told him he had no genitals whatsoever. Frank actually seemed unfazed by this development. After all, he had never seemed to need genitals before, but deep down it started to trouble him. And so, uncharacteristically, Frank actually made a decision. He would not, as he told his family, go dancing in DuPont Circle with his chum Sergio. Instead, he would go to a local hospital to get an implant. We join Frank and Sergio as they arrive at a respected area hospital. Frank turns to his chiseled, handsome partner and says,
Sergio, once I get my fake penis, I'll be one step closer to being a well-respected pseudo-journalist. I have a long way to go, but at least I'll be able to pee standing up. I'm sorry, we've got to go to the emergency room for this, but I'm just too anxious to wait till morning. I want it now! I need a penis right now!
Right now, Senor Frank, we do it in the emergency room?
No, sweet Sergio, I need my implant.
Just then, the handsome interracial couple is approached by a brilliant staff physician.
Oh, I guess I played the doctor today, not Frank's father. So, what's all this then? With all that yelling, my guess is that you're either a very lonely asexual eunuch or you need an implant.
Actually, you're right on both counts, Doctor.
Dr. Bandwidth. Dr. Chip Bandwidth at your service.
Nice to meet you, Doc. This is my, friend, Sergio.
Hello, young man.
And my name is Francis H. Aherns, and I want to buy some plastic genitals.
Aherns. Say, I know you. Aren't you that radio columnist for the Washington Star?
Why, yes, I am. Are you surprised to learn of my dilemma?
No, not really. I've actually done genital implants for dozens of radio columnists. You know, it's funny. None of them seem to have any balls.
Yeah, it sort of comes with the territory.
See, before we get started on filling out your paperwork, I was wondering if you mind if I asked you a question about the radio industry. You know, some insider stuff?
Go ahead, Doc, but I doubt I'll be able to help you. I'm just an asexual peon who writes the radio column because I lost the bet at work.
Really?
Yep. Truth be told, I don't even like good radio. Oh, sure, I love stale radio dramas from the 1920s, and I occasionally listen to tired, old West Coast classic rock stations over the internet, but if it's current or compelling or considered entertaining by the masses, I can't stand it.
Frankly, boy, I'm surprised.
Well, don't be. That's what makes me Frank Aherns, the radio critic without a clue. But I'll try to answer your questions anyway, Doctor.
All right, here's my question. My question is about the Don and Mike radio show.
Oh, I hate them. All their talk about sex and women. Who really likes that?
Actually, I do. And so do all of my friends. You see, boy, we're all well-educated, high-salaried professionals, and we never miss a minute of the highly entertaining, nationally syndicated Don and Mike show. In fact, aren't they consistently number one in the Arbitron ratings?
I couldn't tell you. I don't know how to read a ratings book.
Well, what do you know, boy?
I know I love All Things Considered on NPR.
But what about that fantastic, spontaneous moment just yesterday on the highly entertaining Don and Mike show when their engineers got pulled over for speeding by an undercover cop? Why, that might have been the greatest bit of live radio I've ever heard.
Well, I guess I missed it. I don't get very good radio reception in my creepy, dark basement room, so I never listened. But that doesn't stop me from writing my idiotic column.
Now then, boy, about your surgery, I'll need some information. Name and occupation?
I'm Frank Aherns, and I'm a pseudo-journalist and an internet webmaster.
Your address?
Scatlover.com.
No, I think he needs your home address, Frank Darling.
Oh, right. 1313 Sodomy Circle in Gaithersburg.
And how will you be paying today?
My HOMO should cover it.
Excuse me?
I said my HMO will pay.
I thought only people with real careers got health insurance.
So, this isn't through my pretend job. I got it through our social club. It's the best chorus.
See. Now, I must warn you, boy, there may be some bleeding. Are you all right with that?
Oh, sure. I've seen lots of blood down there. I just got accustomed to the anesthesia. I normally just have a cranberry juice.
I see.
But I'm not nervous. I came to this hospital when I had my bowling trophy incident. And the monster jar. And the light bulb.
And don't forget the 2-liter Pepsi bottle.
Just then, the doctor is approached by a lovely nurse who says,
Pardon me, doctor. I have the test results from that car accident victim.
Thank you, nurse.
Not at all, Dr. Bandwidth.
Very interesting case. It seems this poor hapless retard was driving on U.S. Route 50 yesterday, calling someone on his cell phone and vigorously picking his nose when he was suddenly overcome with crippling homophobia.
Really, senor?
Yes, he suddenly thought that everything in the world was either gay or accusing him of being gay.
That's horrible.
Yes, it is. He just kept driving and picking and being homophobic until he drove right into a concrete abutment. He hit it so hard, he cracked his rectal vibrator.
So, is he
Gay?
Yeah.
Yep. Gay as a $3 bill. And these charts show no sign of brain activity.
That's horrible.
Not really. They were taking it a checkup before the accident happened. So, no damage.
Well, Doc, how about my new fake vagina?
Boy, don't you mean penis?
Oh, yeah, right.
Well, the soonest we could do it is next Wednesday, the 21st.
Let me check my schedule. Hey, I'm free. Let's do it.
What is that, boy, a Palm Pilot?
Sort of. It's called an anal almanac. I bought it in Greenwich Village. I never miss a date. Right, Sergio?
Join us next time when we hear Dr. Bandwidth say,
Good God! I've never seen anything like this before. The testicles are rejecting the patient.
only on As the World Aherns.
Bravo!
When we last left him, our hero Frank Aherns had just completed all the necessary arrangements for his prosthetic penis procedure. It was to be in the hands of one of Washington, D.C.'s most prominent surgeons, Dr. Chip Bandwidth. But what no one, not even Frank himself, knew was that there was a deeper, darker secret lurking beneath Aherns' pasty white, flabby skin. Something so complex only his brilliant surgeon could fully comprehend it. As we join Frank and his constant partner in life, Sergio, they're going to a well-respected hospital in the District of Columbia. The day is Wednesday, June 21st, the day of Frank's groin-altering surgery. It is 9 a.m., and Frank turns to Sergio and says,
Boy, oh boy, my sweet Sergio. Just a few precious hours from now, I'll have real grown-up genitals, just like every other person in my sewing circle. I can't wait, and I want you to be the first person to experience the splendor of my new plastic vagina.
Vagina, senor?
Oh, I'm sorry. I mean penis. But I always seem to say vagina. Penis, penis, penis. I just can't seem to get penis into my head.
Actually, senor, if you remember last night...
Oh, Sergio, I mean the word penis. You naughty Venezuelan vixen, you.
See, my beautiful Francisco. Darling, did you remember your sunscreen?
Of course. I'd be lost without my SPF 90. I just burn like pain factor. Without it. My allergist says it wouldn't be so bad if I occasionally went out in the daylight, but you know me.
See, you prefer your dark, creepy basement room.
Yes. Not only is it damp, cold, and totally devoid of the sun's evil tanning rays, it's also perfectly suited for my naked Dungeons and Dragons club.
I still don't understand why you call that a club, yet you're the only one who plays the Dungeons and Dragons game down there.
Well, you know me, Sergio. Sergio, I've always enjoyed playing with myself. Yes, sir. The way I see it, there is no opponent more formidable. That's why I, Frank Aherns, the lowly regarded radio critic for the Washington Star, love to play with myself.
Not so loud, senor. The people, they are beginning to stare.
I don't care, sweetie. I'm used to being a public embarrassment. Let them stare at me. I'm proud to be an asexual peon eunuch, hated by friends and family alike.
You sure have the balls, Francisco.
Not yet, but soon.
At that moment, they enter into the hospital where Frank will be having his prosthetic genital implant procedure. They are immediately greeted by the brilliant surgeon, Dr. Chip Bandwidth, who says,
Welcome, boys, to the fake genitalia wing of the Our Lady of the Perpetual Flowing Hospital. This is the most modern facility in the district.
Muy bueno.
Yes, it's so much nicer than the clinic Sergio and I normally go to.
Do you have any last-minute concerns, Mr. It is Mr., isn't it?
Of course it is, Dr. Smarty Pants.
Oh, I'm kidding, of course. It's not every day that one meets a guy who has no genitals whatsoever. Now, boy, are there any last-minute concerns?
Yes. Now, Sergio, if anything happens to be, make sure you continue to update scatlover.com, the website that I'm in charge of. And don't forget to post all the digital photos of my bedpan following my procedure, because I'll need a while to recover. Right, Doc?
Yes. Just a few days, but don't worry. Your recovery time will fly right by. I made sure your hospital room has a great radio in it.
Who cares? I never actually listened to radio. In fact, no one that I know really does.
But you're the lowly regarded radio critic for the Washington Star. You have to listen to the radio.
No, I don't, sir. I make up anything I want and print it. It doesn't make any difference anyway. No one pays attention to my column anyway. Just 6 random paragraphs every other week about Charlie Ward or Diane Rehm, and I'm done.
But no one listens to them.
As I said, I write what I want. I'm the critic, and let the public be damned.
You know, boy, you really should be writing about that Don and Mike show. They're constantly rated #1 in all the key demographics.
What does demographic mean?
Well, boy, it means men, women, youngsters, oldsters, and bequeathers. They all listen to the highly entertaining, always original Don and Mike show. Heard locally from 3 until 7 p.m. here on local station WJFK. Hey, did you hear about their Survivor idea? I heard it. I think it's brilliant.
May I remind you, sir, that I only listen to radio that is not popular or embraced by the public. Don't make me change my ways, please.
All right, boy. It just seems to me that a radio critic should be writing about the show that's the hottest, the funniest, and the most original, and a show that runs in over 60 cities throughout the country.
That shows just what you know. That's why I'm the lowly regarded columnist, and you're just a stupid old brilliant surgeon.
Despite their slight disagreement, Dr. Chip Bandwidth is still going through with Frank's procedure. We join them now in the operating room. The gurney rolls in, and Frank says,
Boy, oh boy, oh boy. I couldn't be any more excited even if I knew genitals were going to be attached by that dreaming George Clooney. Okay, Dr. Bandwidth, bring on the plastic vagina. Penis, yes, exactly. Silly me.
Now, I must warn you, boy, as I give you this gas to put you under, you may start mumbling, and as your muscles relax, you may reveal some secrets.
Don't sweat it. My life is an open book, except for the part about the farm animals.
I beg your pardon?
I never even harmed an animal.
Whatever. All right, now, turn that back on, please, nurse.
Come on, turn it on, doctor.
There you go. Now, what I want you to do is breathe, and then breathe deeply. That's right. Breathe in. Now, you should feel this going to your brain. Breathe in. That's right.
There's something I need to get off my chest. I am prohibited at the corporate level from ever giving Don and Mike any good press. I have an unhealthy obsession with Liberace. I plan to alter my face with plastic surgery to resemble Merv Griffin. I'm starving for a Nathan Lane sandwich. I pleasure myself to the Prairie Home Companion. Oh, baby. I'll take Jimmy J. Bullet to block. Somewhere over the rainbow.
All right, nurse, thank you. Finally, he's under. Now, the procedure.
But despite his brilliance, Dr. Bandwidth is having a difficult surgery.
I've never seen anything like it. The testicles are rejecting the patient. This calls for drastic measures.
Join us next time when we hear Dr. Chip Bandwidth say,
I'm sorry, Mr. Aherns. The male genitalia just wouldn't take. And in order to properly close the incision, we had to attach a vagina instead. I hope you won't sue us for malpractice.
Sue you? Gracious, no. I've never been happier. Now, give us a kiss.
only on As the World Aherns.
Another beautiful edition of America's favorite radio soap opera drama.
Man, what did he say when he went under?
As the World Aherns. Okay, let's get right to it. Let me make sure I have all my sound effects I need. Gunshots, cocktail party. Beautiful. It's old-time radio drama being played out right in front of your ears. Ladies and gentlemen, let's turn it over to our studio announcer, Guy Birdley.
When we last left him, our hero, Frank Aherns, was right in the middle of the greatest day of his life. Not only did he successfully have a prosthetic vagina attached to his previously smooth, uninhabited groin, he had also realized the intense feelings that he felt toward the brilliant doctor responsible for the uncommon medical procedure. Even better, it seemed that the brilliant MD, Dr. Chip Bandwidth, shared Frank's feelings. The couple is currently at the hospital, engaged in a passionate lip lock. Which is Frank's way of saying thanks for the splendid new fake vagina. Their lips part. Frank stares deeply into Dr. Bandwidth's intensely blue eyes and says,
Hot dog! I finally feel complete. I have my very own genitalia. And even though it's fake and probably better suited to someone of another gender, I've never felt better. No wonder I've been so miserable for so long. I've been running around with no genitals whatsoever.
Boy, it does seem odd that you could go through life as long as you did without ever needing any sex organs.
It does, doesn't it? But as I proceeded through life's rich pageant, I just never seemed to need them. That is odd, but such is life.
So, boy, are you pleased with your new vagina?
You bet. I have just one question.
Yes?
Are you sure that it's supposed to look like that? It seems a little weird.
Frank, haven't you ever seen a vagina before?
No, Chip. I really haven't.
I mean, I could have guessed by the way you kissed me that you've never been with a woman before. But haven't you ever seen a woman's private parts in an adult magazine or maybe in a pornographic motion picture?
No way, Jose. The porno that I enjoy tends to focus on other aspects of the human sexual condition, like bowel movements. Oh, and what's with that hair?
Well, since you're totally devoid of body hair, Frank, me and the nurses bought you a fine new Merkin, and it looks fine.
Thanks, Doc.
And trust me, Frank, vaginas all look like that for the most part. But yours may be a little prettier than most because I worked extra hard on it.
Oh, Dr. Bandwidth, you say the sweetest thing.
Frank Aherns made a fast recovery and his plastic genitals healed without incident. On the third day, he was ready to be discharged, and Dr. Bandwidth came up to hospital room 69 to handle the paperwork personally. It seemed that a relationship was brewing between the two that exceeded doctor and patient.
Oh, Dr. Bandwidth, I'm sure going to miss your daily visits to my hospital room. 69 will never be the same without you.
I'll miss him too, boy. Here, slip out of that gown. That's right. Ooh, baby. I got you a special gift. Here it is.
Oh, goody gumdrops. A leather bustle shirt and tight capri pants. I'll be the talk of the town, Doc.
You bet, boy. Your camel toe will be on everyone's lips. In a manner of speaking, of course.
That's right. Some things are just for a man and his doctor. Oh, Dr. Bandwidth, I don't know what I'm going to do without your daily checkups. The probes, the rub-downs, the rectal thermometer 10 times daily. By the way, do most transplant patients run the risk of a fever?
No, but, you can never be too careful.
I suppose. In any case, I just don't want it to end.
It doesn't have to.
Oh, I was hoping you'd say that. Do you want to go to a party with me tonight? All the Washington, D.C. newspaper community will be there.
Boy, I wouldn't miss it.
Good! I was going to take Sergio, but believe me, that Venezuelan vixen is yesterday's news. I got me a doctor!
Later that day, Frank and Dr. Bandwidth arrived at an exclusive party for the Washington, D.C. newspaper community. All the journalistic heavy hitters were there, and so was Frank.
Oh, boy. What a great party. Hey, did you try the clam dip, Dr. Bandwidth?
Actually, Frank, that's not the clam dip. I think it's Chris Buchwald's drool cup.
Ooh, that explains the cigar taste.
I'm glad we finally got in.
I know. That doorman sure was a pest. Even though I had my Washington Star press pass, he still wouldn't let us in.
Well, I could see his point, boy. You're a radio critic, not a real journalist.
Touche.
Now listen, boy, shouldn't we be mingling with all your contemporaries?
I'd rather give you another thank you kiss.
Maybe later. Let's meet some folks first.
Oh, I don't know, Chip. Everyone hates me.
Well, it is a competitive business.
No, not just journalists. Everyone. Everyone hates me. Even Sergio.
But you two were so close.
Well, the breakup went badly. But I let him keep all my Judy Garland records and the DVD of the Birdcage.
How sweet of you. But Frank, do you still think everyone at this party hates you?
I know they do. Dr. Gridlock just spit in my daiquiri.
What about that guy over there? Everyone loves columnist Rob Levy. Hey, Rob Levy.
Well, this is Dr. Chip Bandwidth, the brilliant surgeon.
You give us that line again, Robbie.
Well, if it isn't Dr. Chip Bandwidth, the brilliant surgeon.
How nice of you to remember me, Mr. Levy.
Well, how can I possibly forget your generous donations to my Send a Kid to Camp campaign?
Sorry you didn't make your goal this year. Or last year.
Thanks.
Or the year before.
All right, Chip, we get the idea.
I was wondering if you'd like to talk to me and my friend, Frank Aherns.
The useless radio critic? Ha! No thanks.
Come on, give him a chance.
All right, but I know I'll regret it. No one in the industry likes or respects Frank Aherns. You doing any gardening this summer, idiot? Corn? Tomatoes?
Nope. But there's lots of corn on my website, catlover.com.
Well, I'm taking a trip to Mexico in August.
Well, that's something. Are either of you familiar with the Spanish tongue?
Only Sergio's.
This is useless. The man is a fool. What about radio? Can we at least discuss DC radio? I mean, me, just like every other person in town, loves the Don and Mike show. I love the Don and Mike show. How about you, radio critic? How do you feel about the #1 show in the market?
Oh, it's just like reading your own lines. Don't know. I never listened to them, but I've got some great tapes of the Joy Boys that I'm quite fond of.
At that moment, the door bursts open to reveal one angry, dark-skinned, beautiful man. It's Frank's ex-life partner, Sergio. And he has a gun.
Take that, you crazy Nancy boy! I kill you, Frank Aherns, and now we see who is the man in our relationship.
Oh, my God! He hit me right at my prosthetic
crazy critic. Die! And all just for fun. I killed Leonard Shapiro, too.
Join us next time when Dr. Chip Bandwidth kneels down to Frank's lifeless body and says,
Don't sweat it, sweetheart. I can save you.
Because these hands have been touched by God!
only on As the World Aherns.
Thank you, boys. Wonderful episode. Thank you, everybody. Okay, everybody. This will be, at least for right now, the final episode of As the World Aherns, of course, dedicated to the douchebag of the Washington Post. So if everybody's in place, let's go and cue our announcer. Here's the wrap-up episode.
When we last left him, our hero, Frank Aherns, was in a world of trouble. He had just been shot multiple times by his spurned ex-life partner, Sergio. Amazingly, the vast majority of the shots fired at Frank hit him exclusively in his newly installed plastic vagina. Only a couple of the bullets went astray, resulting in the unfortunate and senseless deaths of both Leonard Shapiro and Dr. Gridlock. But I digress. Our focus must remain on our hero, Frank, who, as we join today's episode, is lying in a puddle of his own blood, curled up in a fetal position on the floor at a party in Washington, D.C., surrounded by all the heavy hitters of print journalism. Luckily, Frank was escorted to the party by a brilliant young surgeon, Dr. Chip Bandwidth. Dr. Bandwidth kneels down next to Frank to see if he can save our young hero and says,
This is worse than I thought. Everyone must clear this room. Give this pseudo-journalist some room. Good God. Look at this mess. I haven't seen vaginal bleeding this severe since Barbara Bush hit menopause.
Oh, tell me about it. And the ironic thing is, I wasn't even supposed to start my first menstrual cycle until a week from Wednesday. Oh.
Frank, boy, you can talk.
Of course I can. The bullet's in my vulva, not my voice box. But the fact remains, I am in excruciating pain. If you don't do something soon, I'm a goner for sure.
Don't worry, sweetheart. I'll do everything I can to make sure you pull through. Now then, let's have a look at that vagina.
What should I do, Doctor?
Well, Frank, boy, if you can elevate your hips and spread your legs as far apart as you can, I've got to get at your crotch.
Oh, Dr. Bandwidth, I've waited for so long to hear you say those words to me.
I know, Francis. I'm sorry it's under these unfortunate conditions. Now, try to show me that sensational cervix of yours.
Oh, my goodness, Doctor! I can't move from the waist down!
That says to me you've suffered some very heavy nerve damage. I better call over to the hospital to see if they can send over a specialist who can help you because, as you know, my field of expertise is prosthetic genitalia.
So, as Dr. Bandwidth goes off to call into the hospital, Frank is timidly approached by the only other figure remaining in the room. He is a darkly handsome, muscular man dressed in a studded leather outfit. It is Sergio, the man who only moments earlier had tried to kill Frank in a burst of jealousy-fueled gunfire. But his mood has changed. He seems apologetic as he approaches our hero.
Francisco, my darling, you look truly pitiful. So sad.
Well, considering you just unloaded about 20 bullets into my latex labia, I can't move my legs and I'm bleeding to death. I thought I was putting up a pretty brave front. It's pretty lucky that I was able to drink a half a pink lady before your terrorist attack. Boy, that liquor sure helps ease the pain.
Well, my darling, I came over to beg your forgiveness. Please, Francisco, can you ever put the incident behind us?
Sergio. You finally saw the error of your ways, didn't you? You want us to be together? You want to experience the splendor of my new vagina?
Actually, I was just wondering if you could introduce me to Senor Tony Kornheiser. I never realized how dreamy he was.
At that moment, Dr. Chip Bandwidth returns to Frank's side and says,
Listen, boy, bad news. The hospital can't send anyone to help out. All the other doctors were called out to help John Imus with his 5 broken ribs, his broken collarbone, his separated shoulder, and his collapsed lung.
Who is Don Imus?
Exactly.
Oh, Dr. Badwith, try to help me. I feel myself getting weaker.
Okay, boy. Let's have a look. Yeah, definite signs of nerve damage. After the shooting, it seems that Frank has lost control of his bowels.
Actually, Doctor, that happened this afternoon. I've never had a lot of luck with controlling my BMs, but I still love looking at them.
Good God! This is worse than I thought. This is the worst-looking gash I've ever seen. Sergio!
See.
Hand me my medical bag.
See.
I've got bad news for you, Frank.
What is it, Doc?
Listen, boy, it appears that your body is rejecting the vagina after all. I was afraid this would happen.
You were?
Yes.
Oh.
When we did our initial blood work at the hospital, I realized that your bloodstream was totally devoid of all hormones. Therefore, your body cannot, by its very nature, sustain any sexual function. That vagina has got to go.
Oh, well, that's not too bad.
But there's more.
What? You have to take my Birkin, too?
Well, actually, boy, you can keep your Merkin, but it appears you're going to die.
Hi, Chihuahua!
Even after an emergency vaginal removal and some fast stitching, the blood loss continued at a rapid rate. Frank was indeed dying. And now that he was back to being an asexual peon, a strange calm fell over him. He began to speak.
Val, the end is in sight. There are a few things that I'd like to get off my concave chest. First of all, Dr. Badwith?
Yes.
I never really loved you.
Really, boy?
That's the truth, sir. I was just using you to make Sergio jealous. I wanted him to father my children.
Well, you did make him jealous, boy. He did kill 3 people.
Not people, Dr. Badwith. Reporters! And Sergio, I am so flattered that you killed for me. By the way, let me see the gun that you used.
Here it is, my Francisco.
Ooh, thanks. Take that, bitch.
Do you have any other deathbed confessions, Frank Aherns?
Yes, I do. It's time I told it. The truth is that... Well, here it goes. I love the Donna Bike Show. There. I said it. I love the Don and Bike Show.
But boy, why do you write all that negative stuff about them?
Because they refuse to love me back. I mean, of course I find them hilarious and compelling. I think that they are far and away the greatest thing on the dial. They are the future. They are radio gods. But they never once gave me the respect that I was entitled to. All I ever really wanted was for them to recognize me for what I really am.
Which is what?
A beautiful, luscious woman.
So, boy, you really loved Don and Mike all along?
Oh, yes. It was a strange, one-sided love affair. And since they wouldn't let me love them, I had to hate them. In fact, Don and Mike are my second favorite radio show of all time. Next to who? Rod and Fez.
That figures.
And with that, Frank Aherns was dead. No life, no career, and no genitals. But the world goes on, and soon there will be another radio critic to take his place. And if the new critic is smart and chooses his words wisely, he'll never have a radio drama written about him. A drama like As the World Aherns.
Bravo! Bully! Author! Bully! Author! Bully! Bravo! Bully! there. Aherns, why don't you roll that up and smoke it?
That was a beautiful, beautiful ending.
What do you think about that, huh?
Wonderful.
That's good.
I love that.
Now, how could he possibly write in his online column today?